I think we all watching this, we recall, wait, I don't remember all of these details. I don't remember how long this investigation was. I don't remember Bruce and all of that. So tell me, when you signed onto this project, what did you remember about Amerithrax, the post 9/11 events?
Yeah, no, first of all, you have a beautiful studio behind you.
This is all fake in my office. Thank you.
I had a feeling, but that's okay. My background's blurry and fake too. But anyway, yeah, I remember, most of us, I remember exactly where I was during 9/11. But when it came to the anthrax attacks, what I remember was hearing on the news that there were these letters being sent to politicians and news anchors and editors, and I remember the kind of panic that happened right after that. And I don't know about you, but I didn't open my mail for like a month because no one knew where these attacks were coming from and how widespread they would be. And there was all sorts of conjecture that it was Al Qaeda, and it was Iraq, and all it was all, nobody knew anything, and so
Yeah.
there was just a lot of fear. But I don't remember the details of the investigation because this investigation actually lasted for years and involved hundreds of agents, and so um, I wasn't following the twists and turns. But it turns out there were many of them.
Right. And so when you were taking on the role of Matthew, what did you do to prepare? I read, I think that you spoke with some people that were involved with the investigation, or just agents.
Yeah, I spoke with FBI agents, and for the first thing I did was I did a deep dive, courtesy of Google. I went on my computer and just read the events that as they occurred and all the conspiracy theories as well. And one thing I was reminded of is that other than the JFK assassination, 9/11 is probably the most talked about event in our history in terms of potential conspiracy theories, and there were some surrounding anthrax at the time too.
Right.
And so I did that kind of research, and then I spoke to some FBI agents who were active at the time of 9/11 and during the anthrax attacks. And so they were telling me their perspective on what was going on and what they were feeling as protectors of our country. And their feedback was pretty valuable.
Your character suffers from really like an early onset of PTSD because he witnessed the Pentagon, and you see the shake and all of that. And I think that humanizes a character like Matthew, because we think of FBI agents as like strong and statuesque and all of that. So did any of the agents during your research talk to you about mental trauma?
They talked about this overwhelming desire to help and protect people. And that I thought was really, really admirable. And how it affected their mental health was that they pursued this goal and to the neglect of everything else in their life. And much like Matthew Riker. So they were telling me stories that right after 9/11, they would work 12-hour shifts. And then when they were done with their shifts, they would go to ground zero and help the first responders. And this was not just one day, 2 days, they were doing this for weeks. And
Wow.
so one of the FBI agents I was speaking to said he did not sleep for probably the entire month after the attack, because that's how dedicated he was to helping, to finding the people behind this. And I took that away for Matthew Riker, because his if there's any superpower he has, it's his persistence.
Yeah.
It's the fact that he will not be deterred at the expense of other things in his life. And
Yeah.
some of these are important things.
Yeah, exactly. He said, follow the science. We know. I want to finish up with you truly stand as an inspiration, as an Asian American leading man to Asian American actresses, Asian American actors. What is your advice to filmmakers, to directors, screenwriters, casting directors, as we move and progress in casting and putting, Asians in leading roles?
It's it's thank you first of all. That's really nice of you. Uh, as far as advice to directors or casting people, I'd give different advice to each of them. I think so. I'll try to be specific to directors. I think what's really important. Historically, we've seen a lot of directors who tell very personal stories, and those personal stories are very important. Um, but what I think is equally as important is to try and find experiences outside of your own that may still whose themes may still apply to the work that you do. I think to try and expand the notion of the kind of stories that we each can tell will lead to more inclusive casting in a way that's organic and not just forced upon them by a casting executive or a studio executive. And I think we're all looking for universality in our stories, but the specificity with which we tell them can 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 vary, and it doesn't always have to be one kind of person telling the same kind of story.
Well said, Daniel. Well said. Bravo. Thank you again. Congratulations. It's a hit. You're a hit.
Oh, right on. Well, if you say so, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.